Lonely Server is a quaint little NPC town, so remote that it has hardly ever interacted with human players. The townsfolk go about their lives in harmony, and all is well in the virtual world. Well, sort of.
A long time ago, in the early age, things were different from how they are now. Simpler, perhaps, but no less valuable. In this time, there were fewer of our kind and less was known. There were other villages, smaller, and with fewer residents. From one of these, a man ventured out, perhaps to see what the seed had made, or perhaps simply by mistake. The man had wandered for a long time. He had with him a bow and only a few arrows. After a time he came upon 3 sheep, 2 white and 1 black. He had never seen a sheep like that before. He watched the sheep for a long while, and when the black sheep broke off from the others, he followed it. He followed the sheep for days, winding through valleys and mountains and deserts. He was growing hungry and tired, but they had not come across any food or any other animals in all their travels. He decided he had no option but to draw his bow upon the sheep and make it his meal. He pointed his arrow at the beast, and just before he released, he saw a giant spider poised to attack. Quickly, he changed his aim to the spider and loosed his arrow. It struck the monster midair, just before the bite. The sheep was startled and ran off, faster than the man could follow. He watched as it left. Then, reluctantly, he prepared the spider and ate. Though his belly was full, he felt empty and lost, without the sheep to guide him. He walked slowly in the direction he had seen the sheep flee, but knew he would never see it again. After a time, he came upon a great river. With no way to cross, he turned and followed the river up. The man was afraid. He felt that he had made a mistake in leaving the village. He knew that no one from the village had ever been this far from home, and he doubted if he could find his way back. He had never known anyone to die, but he prepared his mind for the possibility that he himself may pass into the seed. As he walked, the moonlight suddenly dipped, and he was bathed in shadow. He looked up and saw a massive, strange stone structure spanning the width of the river, suspended between 2 mountains high above. He climbed the mountains up to the structure and crossed the river upon the mighty stone path. The path seemed old. He had to take care not to fall through into the depths of the water below. The path continued, but was cracked and overgrown and difficult to follow. As the path broke, so did the morning, and the man looked up and saw a mighty village, the likes of which he had never known to exist. He walked slowly into the great sea of structures and wondered what had happened to those who lived there. It was a great village and must have taken thousands to build it, but now it was in ruins and only home to moss and vines and wild animals. He felt a great thrill to be seeing something that had not been seen, as far as he knew, for a long, long time. There were many buildings of different designs, not like the uniformity of his home village. After taking a moment to work up his courage, he stepped inside the largest of the ruins. He walked up a flight of stairs and saw strange images on the walls, like moments in time, captured somehow within a frame. He stopped and looked at these for a time, and he thought they were beautiful. He arrived at the top of the stairs and looked out over the ruins. Suddenly he had a vision of what had been before. The ruins were alive. The buildings restored to their former glory. Suddenly villagers appeared. But they were not normal villagers. They moved quickly and with unknown purpose. They had strange markings above their heads. They moved from building to building. They built. They harvested their crops. They seemed to build and move and harvest with such ease and speed that the man wondered how they came to have such power. Suddenly the man felt a fear, and other marked ones came and began to attack the great village. Their swords clashed with those of the ones who had lived here, and great fires erupted without warning in the buildings. The bursts of flame broke down the structures with terrible speed, and the man learned that their power to build was eclipsed only by their power to destroy. The vision faded, and he was left with the ruins as they stood today. He felt a great grief in his mind, and wondered how anyone could destroy something so beautiful.
Why would they? Why would they destroy something that they made?
I don't know. There are some things that aren't understood, but they are still a part of the seed. Perhaps destruction is as vital a part of things as creation.
I don't know. What that marked one did to the librarian, and what it done to us.
I think that what we can learn from the story is that destruction may have a purpose, but it can still make us sad.
But what purpose did it have in the story? They destroyed what they had made, and a man felt sad. What purpose did the librarian dying have?
The seed is much bigger than we are. It comprises all things. It isn't often easy to tell at first why things happen.
So, what happened to the man? Where did he go next?
Well, that was the end of the story. I don't know what the man did next. I don't think any of this actually happened. It is just a story.
If it never happened, where did the story come from?
Where does any story come from? Stories are a good way to pass lessons down over time.
What was the lesson here?
I find the best stories have a different lesson for each person who hears them.
Well, I just heard it, and I don't have any idea what I was supposed to learn.
Maybe I told it wrong.